What does a scapegoat go through in toxic family systems and relationships? Hi everyone, I'm Sarah from Trauma Recovery Coaching. I am a certified coach specializing in abuse recovery from narcissistic, sociopathic, and psychopathic abuse. Today we are covering 7 things a scapegoat goes through in a toxic family system or relationship, Part 1. Number 1, you get blamed for everything. The scapegoat is chronically blamed for everything wrong in the toxic family or relationship dynamic. It doesn't matter what it is, the scapegoat will be blamed for it, and they will begin to feel bad about themselves and begin to self-gaslight. Number 2, you are the peacekeeper and the people pleaser. Scapegoats have to try to keep the peace. If they don't, all chaos breaks loose, and it is so hard for the scapegoat to function. They don't want to handle conflict because it's exhausting and so draining, but scapegoats will handle the conflict frequently because scapegoats are also the truth tellers who stand up against injustice. Scapegoats are often people pleasers. It's almost always required when we are in a bad situation to fawn our abusers to keep ourselves safe and out of harm's way, even if it's only for a short amount of time. Depending on the family or relationship dynamic, fawning may or may not work, but there is often a deeply rooted need to people please, to get praise, love, care, affection, and attention that scapegoats are deprived of in these toxic situations. Number 3, your abuser uses you for emotional and mental support. It's very common for scapegoats to be used as emotional and mental support from the very person who is harming them. Scapegoats are often highly sensitive people who will listen and support, even when the issues the abuser is facing aren't age appropriate. Narcissists often create a surrogate spouse relationship with their children, which is also known as covert incest. The scapegoat becomes very drained of their emotional energy trying to support their abuser, which means they have no time outside of the toxic relationship for anyone else or for themselves. Number 4, your abuser projects their own behaviors onto you. A scapegoat will face the projection of their abuser. Things your abuser will do will be forced onto you. You will take the blame for their actions. The toxic person is ungrateful, so in turn, they will project that you are the ungrateful one, and nothing they do for you is ever enough. When you are the one sacrificing yourself for them so you can meet their needs while your needs are never met. Number 5, the verbal abuse is constantly happening. Scapegoats are constantly verbally assaulted on a day-to-day basis when they are in contact with their abuser. The comments can be very covert or hidden in past wounds others are unfamiliar with that will trigger you and push you over the edge just so the abuser can get a reaction from you to get their desired supply. This is also known as dog whistling. Number 6, your successes and achievements are downplayed. Anything that you may accomplish will be downplayed. The scapegoat faces the struggle of always having to feel that they are never good enough, because regardless of what they achieve, it's just another day, another thing, and life keeps going. Scapegoats often face imposter syndrome, as they often doubt their skills, talents, or accomplishments, and they often have a persistent fear of being thought of as a fraud, or they believe that they are a fraud. Scapegoats often cannot identify with their achievements. Their past and present often overlap in their minds, and it's hard to identify themselves with what they've accomplished because they were taught to just keep going, keep surviving, but thriving is only for the golden child. Number 7, the abuse is ignored by others. The scapegoat will be ignored in other situations, and they are often made the scapegoat for people outside of the family or relationship dynamics. The abuse that happens for scapegoats will be looked over by the bystanders that will say, "That's not my responsibility," or "I was taught to mind my own business," instead of helping or saying anything. Unfortunately, this is a very common situation. Have you ever experienced any of these 7 things a scapegoat goes through in a toxic family system or relationship? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for listening.